papers. Thank you very much for those calls. Tony and Aldos looking at the education aspect of things, and also having Herbert in Western area looking at some of his luxury items. Would you call it luxury or necessity? Because entertainment, just keeping the family sane for a few seconds while you try to do some work, it may be part of the ways in which you manage your current living situation. But at about 10 past 5 in the next hour, we'll talk to Catherine Clark, owner and founder of the Harvest Table, about tips for eating healthy on a shoestring budget. And at about 25 minutes before 6, we will talk to Nola Payne, Head of Faculty, Information and Communications Technology at the IEE, about why matrics should still aim to recreate their own exam experience at home, just giving us better. I really feel and empathize for this year's current matrics. So will be giving us better insight to exactly how to have focused vision and simulation of the exam environment. It's an important time for our matrics. Our thoughts are really with them, and how this matric mid-year exams will provide valuable benchmarks from which to launch the final push towards their finals. In the newspapers. All right, straight to the papers. Let's look what we have. Straight to the nation's capital, Pretoria News. Level 3, freedom to booze. And just looking at the top part of the newspaper, celebrating 20 years of honoring our heroes and heroines. And yeah, it looks like South Africans went liquor crazy, but I don't know how I feel about it. It's a contentious issue, but let's see what the Pretoria News has to say. The first customer to emerge from Macro Pretoria North with liquor shouts for joy as others in the queue look on. People all over the city started to queue outside liquor traders from the early hours of yesterday. This was after level 3 of the lockdown kicking in at midnight, and with it, the unbanning of the sale of alcohol for home consumption. More of this in page 3. Multitudes of South Africans across the great nation. And you can look at some of them waiting there in front of Macro. Long queues at Wonderboom Macro's alcohol sales return. And we've got Wally Duvenacher outside Macro Silver Lakes for brandy. You made the papers, my good sir. And also workers at Macro loading alcohol for tavern owners. That picture taken by Zelda Fenter. And people queued in large numbers outside a bottle store in Soshanguve. That picture taken by Rapula Moate. And another gentleman stocking up on his wine. It seems people emptied out their cellars. This gentleman looks happy with 3 bottles, not holding back there. Christian van der Merwe, sir, you look like you've got a nice collection there. Anxiously waits for his first glass of red wine. I read in a paper that someone even popped a Corona. It was some incredible insights. Just looking into the paper itself and carrying on with this discussion with the Pretoria News on page 3, taxi industry health concerns. Operators' biggest worry is the lack of sanitizers, equipment needed to fumigate vehicles. The beginning of a lockdown level 3 yesterday saw scores of commuters flocking to taxi ranks and bus stations. Motorists using their cars also filled the roads, and in particular major roads like the R80 Mabopane highway, with people returning to normal routine. Queues for public transport were long. Informal traders were also selling essentials for breakfast as well as airtime. At the Mabopane taxi rank, while some taxis were taking passengers to work, some drivers were getting their vehicles washed as they awaited their turn to collect passengers. Taxi drivers David Pata and Amos Mfupi said they had struggled to arrive financially and survive financially rather, and were happy and ready to return to work. However, they had said their biggest concern was that they did not have sanitizers and all the equipment needed to fumigate taxis. Concerning that, and then just finishing off on workers stranded as taxis strike. Workers who were excited to get back to work in the thick of things after a 2-month break started their first day on a bad note yesterday due to a taxi strike in Mamelodi. From the early morning, Solomon Mahlangu Drive near Mahube and Ikageng was blocked by taxi drivers. The busy road, which is under construction, was barricaded with rocks and burning tires in the morning, causing chaos. Excuse my tough Nguni tongue there. And moving on to the Star. The Great Lockdown Liquor Heist. Jeez, guys, that's a bit dramatic. Thieves. Okay, it's not dramatic. So the headline from the Star reads, The Great Lockdown Liquor Heist. Thieves tunnel their way into store to help themselves to whiskey, brandy, gin, vodka, and beer worth 300,000 rand. Details of how one of Joburg's greatest alcohol heists was pulled off has emerged as the desperation for liquor heightened close to the end of the COVID-19 level 4 rather, lockdown that put a blanket ban on the sale of liquor. Criminals dug a tunnel to carry out the daring break-in to steal 300,000 rands worth of alcohol from a ShopRite liquor shop at Newtown Junction in Johannesburg. Criminals dug a tunnel to carry out the daring break-in to steal the 300,000 rand worth of alcohol from ShopRite liquor shop at Newtown Junction in Joburg, as I mentioned. Management and employees were shocked to discover the tunnel and a hole in the center of the store that enterprising thieves used to help themselves to whiskey, brandy, gin, ciders, vodka, and beer valued at 300,000 rand. According to a statement from ShopRite Holdings, the store was robbed in a bizarre manner as the criminals tunneled through a solid concrete floor to gain access to the store. Yesterday, the store appeared to have mopped up in time for the level 3 opening despite the break-in and seemed to be functioning normally. The manager of the ShopRite liquor shop in Newtown Junction discovered the theft and a large hole in the ground, which she entered the store on Friday. She was returning to prepare for the store's reopening under the easing of the level 3 lockdown conditions on June 1st. ShopRite said in a statement, it was reported that the incident took place during the country's nationwide level 4 and level 5 lockdown. With alcohol in high demand during the lockdown period, the store was secured from the outside throughout. But the suspects avoided the mall's main entrance and instead used an electrical and stormwater tunnels beneath the shopping center to gain access to an area beneath the store. That's an incredible story. You can read more about that in the front page of the Star. The Great Lockdown Liquor Heist. That's going to go down in the books. 300,000 rands worth of liquor stolen from the ShopRite liquor shop at Newtown Junction in Joburg. And finishing off with the back page, football return plan formulated. All 32 teams ready to enter massive camp so they can be monitored and kept safe. The Joint Liaison Committee of the South African Football Association and its special member, the National Soccer League, have welcomed the unanimous decision by JLC appointed task team, which says professional football activities can resume under a massive single cap. With the domestic season having come to a complete halt on March 15 following the outbreak of the coronavirus 3 weeks ago, the JLC selected a team which consists of members from both the parties to come up with